You're mistaken. 3 words. That's all he gave me. I stood there in front of everyone. Pack members, elders, people who had known me my entire life. And Ryan looked me dead in the eyes and said those 3 words like I was nothing. Like that night had never happened. Like I had never happened. Let me take you back, 24 hours earlier. Ryan had chosen me, not quietly, not privately. He had looked across the room at the pack gathering and walked straight to me, past everyone else, past the other Omegas who wanted his attention, past the politics and the positioning, and stopped in front of me like the room didn't exist. "Come with me," he said. I went. Because I was 22, and Ryan was everything the pack said an alpha should be. Powerful, certain, the kind of man rooms reorganized themselves around. Because he had been looking at me for months in the specific way that makes your chest feel too small for what's inside it. Because I wanted to. What happened that night was real. I know what real feels like. The mark on my neck when I woke up told me everything I needed to know. A mark doesn't lie. A mark is permanent. Biological. The most unambiguous thing one person can give another. Ryan had given me his. So when I walked into the pack hall the next morning and found him standing with the elders, calm, composed, completely himself, I wasn't afraid. I was certain. I crossed the room. I said his name. He turned around, and something happened in his eyes that I still don't have a word for. Not recognition, not guilt. Something blank. Like a door that had been open was simply closed. "Can I help you?" he said. The room went quiet. Not immediately. The way rooms go quiet when they sense something is about to happen, and they don't want to miss it. "Ryan," I said again. Quieter. "Last night." "I don't know what you're referring to," he said. My heart did something complicated. "The mark," I said. I pulled my collar down slightly. "Just enough. Your mark. On my neck." He looked at it. His expression didn't change. "You're mistaken," he said. I have replayed that moment so many times. The way he said it. Not angry. Not cruel. Just flat. Final. Like he was correcting a minor factual error, and I was wasting his time. "You're mistaken." Like I had confused him with someone else. Like I was the kind of person who imagined things. The elders shifted uncomfortably. Nobody spoke. I stood there with his mark burning on my neck, and his eyes looking through me like I was glass. And I thought, say something else. Give me something else. Any other explanation. He didn't. He turned back to the elders. Like I wasn't there. Then she walked in. Koira. Another Omega. Beautiful. Connected to the right families. The kind of choice that made political sense for a pack leader. Ryan's entire energy changed when she entered. Not dramatically. He was too controlled for that. Just a slight turn. A slight opening. The way a person turns toward warmth without deciding to. He crossed to her, said something quietly that made her smile. Then, and I will never forget this, he put his hand on the small of her back and looked across the room. At me. Not with guilt. Not with apology. Just looked. The way you look at something that is in your peripheral vision and means nothing. Then he looked away. The whispers started immediately. I could hear them without trying. That's the Omega who said Ryan marked him. Ryan? He would never choose someone like... Probably imagined the whole thing. Omegas do that sometimes. Get confused. Attached to things that aren't real. Each word landed like something physical. I kept my face still. I had learned that early. Keep your face still when you're breaking. Don't give people the satisfaction of watching it happen in real time. But underneath the stillness, everything was loud. The bond was loud. Because that was the thing nobody was accounting for in their whispers and their casual cruelty. I could feel him. Across the room, through whatever Ryan had put on my neck the night before. His emotions weren't blank. They were locked, tight, deliberate, compressed. The specific feeling of something being held down by force rather than absent. Ryan wasn't indifferent. He was suppressing. I didn't know what that meant yet, but I felt it. I found a corner. Not to hide. I was done hiding. Just to think. That was where I saw Damon. He was standing near the east wall, slightly apart from everyone else, a cup in his hand that he wasn't drinking from. Watching the room the way someone watches something they already know the ending of. His eyes found mine, and something moved across his face. Not pity, not cruelty, recognition. The specific look of someone who knows more than they're saying and is deciding, in real time, right in front of you, whether to say it. I held his gaze. He looked away first, put his cup down, straightened his jacket, walked in the opposite direction. I watched him go. He knows something. I filed it away, added it to everything else I was holding. The worst moment came an hour later. Someone laughed. I don't know who started it. I didn't see the beginning. Just heard the laughter spread through a cluster of pack members near the center of the room. The specific laughter of people who have found something to feel superior about and are enjoying it together. One of them caught my eye and looked away quickly, still smiling. I understood. I was the joke. The Omega who had imagined a mark, who had walked into the pack hall and humiliated himself in front of the elders, who had pointed at his own neck and said, "Look what he gave me," while the alpha in question looked through him like he didn't exist. I looked across the room at Ryan. One last time. Defend me, I thought. Say anything. Correct them. You don't have to admit what happened. Just make them stop. He was laughing at something Kara had said. Completely present. Completely warm. The version of him I had seen the night before. The version that had chosen me across a crowded room and walked straight toward me like nothing else mattered. That version existed for her now. Not for me. Never again for me. I left. No dramatic exit. No speech. No tears. Not yet. Those came later, privately, where nobody could count them. I just walked to the door and through it and out into the cold air and kept walking. The bond pulled with every step, tight and insistent and real. So real that I almost stopped, almost turned around, almost went back inside and tried again because surely, there was an explanation that made sense of all of this. I kept walking, because here is what I understood by the time I reached the edge of the pack grounds and felt the boundary behind me. The mark was real. The bond was real. What happened that night was real. Ryan knew all of it, and he had looked at me across a room full of people and chosen to pretend otherwise. I didn't know why yet. I didn't know about Damon's silence or what was underneath it. I didn't know about the seal. I didn't know about Ethan. I didn't know about any of what was coming. All I knew, standing at the edge of everything I had belonged to, with his mark burning on my neck and his laughter still fresh in my ears, was this. If he could forget me that easily, then I had to learn to let him go. I just didn't know yet how hard that was going to be, or how much stronger I was going to have to become to do it. I left with nothing. No plan. No destination. No one waiting on the other side. Just me, the clothes on my back, and a mark on my neck that wouldn't stop burning. The first 3 days were the worst. Not because of the cold, not because of the hunger, not because I was sleeping in a rental room so small The walls felt like they were deciding whether to close in. Because of the bond. Ryan's emotions coming through it at the worst possible moments. Calm, satisfied, unbothered. While I was falling apart, I would wake up at 2 in the morning feeling his contentment like a knife between my ribs. Roll over, press my face into the pillow, wait for it to pass. It always passed. It always came back. I found work in a small cafe on the east side of the city. Nothing remarkable. Early mornings, quiet customers. The kind of place that didn't ask too many questions as long as you showed up on time and did your job. I showed up. I did my job. I kept my collar up. The mark wasn't something I wanted explaining to strangers. I had enough to explain to myself. Ethan came in on a Wednesday. I didn't notice him at first. He was just another customer. Black coffee, window seat. A book he actually read instead of using as a prop. He came back Thursday. Friday, the following Monday. Always the same order. Always the same seat. Always the book. On Wednesday of the second week, he looked up when I brought his coffee and said, completely casually, like we had been talking for years, "You look like someone who hasn't slept properly in a while." I looked at him. "I sleep fine," I said. "You don't," he said. Not unkindly. Just honest. The way people are honest when they're not trying to get anything from you. "But that's all right. You don't have to." He went back to his book. I stood there for a moment longer than I should have. Then I went back behind the counter. He didn't push. That was the thing about Ethan that I noticed first and trusted last, because I had learned not to trust things that felt easy. He didn't ask about the mark, didn't ask where I came from, or why I was here, or what had happened to put that specific tired look behind my eyes. He just came back. Every day. Same order. Same seat. Same book. And slowly, the way things happen slowly when you're not watching for them, I started talking. Small things at first. The coffee was better when the beans were fresh. The morning regulars all had the same order and never once considered changing it. The woman who came in every Friday cried quietly over her cup and left a 20% tip and never made eye contact. Ethan listened to all of it, like it was the most interesting thing he had heard all day. And one morning, before I decided to, before I even knew I was going to, I sat down across from him during my break and said, "Someone marked me," then pretended it never happened. Ethan closed his book, didn't react dramatically, didn't fill the silence immediately with words designed to make me feel better. Just looked at me steadily and said, "How long ago?" 3 weeks. "And the bond?" "Still active," I said. "I can feel him, his emotions, every day." Ethan was quiet for a moment. "That's not normal," he said. I know. A broken bond doesn't stay active," he said. "If he had genuinely rejected the mark, if it wasn't real, you wouldn't feel anything." He paused. "The bond being active means it was never broken. It means it's still recognized. By both of you." I stared at him. "He felt real to you," Ethan said. Because he was. Something cracked open in my chest, not painfully, like a window being opened in a room that had been shut too long. "Then why?" "I don't know," Ethan said honestly. "But I think the question isn't why he did it." He looked at me directly. "The question is what you're going to do now that you know you weren't wrong." I thought about that for days. You weren't wrong. 3 words that hit completely differently than Ryan's 3 words. I hadn't imagined it. I hadn't confused anything. I hadn't been the desperate Omega who invented a bond because he wanted it to be real. It was real. It had always been real. And somewhere across the city, Ryan was walking around with my bond active on his end. Feeling or not feeling, suppressing or not suppressing. And I was here learning how to breathe again in a small cafe on the east side, with a man who came back every day and never once made me feel like a problem to be managed. I started sleeping better. Not perfectly. Not without the 2 a.m. pulls through the bond, but better. I started eating properly, started taking my collar down at home, stopped flinching every time I caught my reflection. The mark was still there, but it started feeling less like evidence of my humiliation, and more like evidence that I hadn't been wrong about myself. Then I felt something new through the bond. Not calm, not satisfaction. Pain. Sharp and sudden. There one moment and suppressed the next, like a door being slammed shut on something that had escaped for just a second. Then restlessness. Low and constant and impossible to settle. I sat with my hand pressed to my chest and felt Ryan's restlessness like it was my own, and understood, without being told, without any explanation, that something was changing on his end. Something was wrong. I told Ethan. He was quiet for a long moment. Pain and restlessness, he said slowly. Through a bond he publicly rejected. Yes. That's not guilt, Ethan said. That's deprivation. He looked at me. A marked bond that gets separated. Both sides feel it eventually. One side might suppress it longer. But it doesn't disappear. He paused. It gets louder. So he's feeling it now, I said. He's been feeling it, Ethan said. He just couldn't ignore it anymore. I sat with that. Ryan. Powerful. Controlled. Certain Ryan. Feeling the bond he had publicly denied, like something pulling at him, that he couldn't shut off. I didn't feel satisfied. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt tired. The specific tiredness of someone who has been carrying something heavy for weeks and just found out the other person has been carrying it too, and neither of them had to. 3 weeks later, Ethan told me something he had been holding back. We were closing the cafe, just the two of us. Mop, chairs up on tables, the specific quiet of a place after everyone has left. He said it without looking at me first. I know someone who was there that night. I stopped. At the pack gathering, he said. Someone who saw what happened between you and Ryan. He paused. Someone who watched the mark happen and said nothing afterward. Damon, I said. Ethan looked at me then. You knew? I saw his face, I said. That morning in the hall, he knew. He looked at me like he knew, and then he walked away. He came to me 2 days ago, Ethan said quietly. He's been carrying it. It's eating at him. He set the mop down. Liam. Ryan's memory was sealed. Deliberately. Someone used pack authority to suppress his memory of that night. The cafe was very still. Sealed, I said. He didn't choose to forget you, Ethan said. He was made to. I stood there with a mop in my hand in a closed cafe and felt the ground shift underneath everything I had built over the past weeks. Ryan hadn't looked through me because I meant nothing. He had looked through me because he genuinely, temporarily, forcibly didn't remember. And Damon had watched it happen and said nothing. I put the mop down, walked to the window, looked out at the empty street. The bond hummed quietly in my chest. Ryan's restlessness still there, low and constant. Something in him searching for something he couldn't name, because the memory of what it was had been taken from him. I pressed my hand flat to my chest and made myself feel all of it without flinching. The humiliation in the pack hall, the whispers, the laughter. The 3 weeks of waking up at 2 in the morning to someone else's contentment while I fell apart. All of it real. All of it survived. I was still here, still standing, still, somehow, against everything. Whole. I turned around. Ethan was watching me with those steady, quiet eyes of his. What do you want to do? He said. I thought about the Liam who had walked into that pack hall with certainty and walked out with nothing. I thought about who I was now. 3 weeks of rebuilding. 3 weeks of Ethan not pushing. 3 weeks of learning that I could exist, fully, completely, without anyone's validation, without a bond, without a pack, without Ryan. I wasn't weak anymore. I just hadn't known it yet. Now I did. I want the truth, I said. All of it. From Damon, in front of Ryan. Ethan nodded slowly. "Do you end after?" he said. I looked at him. "After," I said. "I decide what I'm worth." They found me on a Thursday morning. I saw them coming from the cafe window. Ryan first, tall, controlled. The kind of presence that reorganized space around itself without trying. Damon beside him, slightly behind, hands in his pockets, and his eyes already finding mine through the glass. I didn't move, didn't panic, didn't feel the cold rush of shame I had been afraid I would feel if this moment ever came. I just watched them walk toward me, and noticed, with a quiet kind of certainty, that I was breathing normally. Ethan was beside me when they walked in, not in front of me, not shielding me, beside me. The difference mattered. Ryan stopped when he saw Ethan. Something moved across his face. Assessment, recalibration. The alpha reading the room. Then his eyes came to me, and I watched it happen. The thing I had been told about. The bond recognizing what the sealed memory hadn't been allowed to. His jaw tightened. His eyes dropped, just for a second, to my neck, to the mark. His mark. Something flickered in his expression that he shut down immediately, but I felt it through the bond before he could close it off. Recognition. Raw and sudden and real. "Liam," he said. I had spent 3 weeks imagining this moment, imagining what I would feel when he said my name, like he meant it again. I felt nothing dramatic, just clear. "Ryan," I said. He tried control first. Of course he did. "We need to talk," he said, like he was calling a meeting, like this was something he was managing. "We're talking," I said. He glanced at Ethan. "Privately," he said. "No." A beat. Ryan wasn't used to no, and I could feel it. The slight adjustment, the recalibration. An alpha who had spent his entire life having rooms reorganize around him meeting something that wasn't reorganizing. "Liam, say what you came to say," I said. "Ethan stays." Ryan looked at me for a long moment. Then he looked at Damon. Something passed between them. The specific communication of two people who have been in each other's orbit long enough to speak without words. Damon looked at the floor. "I remember," Ryan said quietly. 2 words. I waited. Not everything. Not all at once. It came back in pieces. The past 2 weeks. He stopped, jaw tight. "I remember the gathering. I remember crossing the room." He stopped again. "I remember marking you." The cafe was completely still. "And the next morning?" I said. "I woke up and it was gone," he said. All of it. Like it had never happened. His voice stayed controlled, but underneath it, through the bond, I could feel the edges of something that had been tearing at him for weeks. I didn't know. "Liam, I know," I said. He stopped. "I know you didn't remember," I said. "I know it was sealed." I looked at him steadily. What I need to know is who sealed it, and why Damon watched me get humiliated in front of the entire pack and said nothing. The silence that followed was the loudest thing in the room. Damon looked up slowly. He looked like someone who had been waiting for this moment and dreading it equally. "It was the elders," he said. His voice was quiet. Even. The voice of someone delivering something they have rehearsed, and still can't make painless. 3 of them. They decided the match was wrong for the pack. Wrong politically. Wrong for Ryan's position. He paused. They sealed his memory the morning after, before he woke up. And you knew, I said. I saw them do it. And you said nothing. He held my gaze. No, I didn't. Why? A long pause. Because I told myself it was pack business, he said. That it wasn't my place. That you would move on. He stopped. I told myself a lot of things that sounded like reasons, and were actually just easier than doing the right thing. The honesty of it landed differently than I expected. Not satisfying. Not vindicating. Just true. The way painful things are true. You watched me stand in that hall, I said. You watched them laugh. You watched Ryan look through me. And you went home and told yourself it wasn't your place. Damon said nothing, because there was nothing to say. Ryan moved, not toward me, toward Damon. And the look on his face was something I had never seen from him before. Not controlled, not performing authority. Genuinely, quietly devastated. You knew, Ryan said. Low, the entire time. You knew what they did to my memory, and you let me stand there, and... He stopped, pressed his hand to his jaw. You let me reject someone I had marked, in front of everyone, without knowing what I was doing. Damon didn't flinch. Yes. That's not pack loyalty, Ryan said. That's cowardice. The word fell into the room and stayed there. Damon didn't argue, because it was true. Ryan turned back to me, and the version of him standing in my cafe on a Thursday morning was different from every version I had known before. No performance, no control, just a man holding the weight of what had been done in his name, and what he had unknowingly done because of it. I'm sorry, he said. Not quickly, not as a transaction. Slowly. Like he was choosing each word carefully because he understood that this was the kind of moment that couldn't be undone by saying the wrong thing. I'm sorry for what they did. I'm sorry for what you walked through alone. I'm sorry I wasn't... He stopped. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I looked at him. This man whose mark was still on my neck, whose bond still hummed in my chest. Quieter now. The restlessness settling for the first time in weeks. I felt it happening. The pull, the biology of it. Saw everything in the bond, recognizing that he was here, and saying this is what was missing, this is what was wrong. I pressed my hand flat to my chest, and made a choice. I believe you, I said. Ryan's eyes stayed on mine. And I forgive you, I said. Not because what happened was acceptable. Not because the mark makes it something I owe you. I paused. Because carrying that weight any longer costs me more than it costs you. And I'm done paying for things that weren't my fault. He nodded. Slow. Like he understood that wasn't the end of the sentence. But, he said quietly. But forgiveness isn't the same as going back, I said. You don't get to come back into my life and pick up where something interrupted us, like the interruption didn't happen. I held his gaze. I'm not the same Liam who stood in that hall. I built something here. I found something here. I glanced briefly at Ethan beside me. I found out who I was without anyone telling me. Ryan looked at Ethan, then back at me. And I saw it. The understanding. The alpha who had come here expecting to reclaim something, realizing that the thing he'd come to reclaim had become something that didn't need reclaiming, had become something that belonged to itself. I'm not asking you to go back, Ryan said quietly. Then what are you asking? He was quiet for a long moment. I don't know yet, he said honestly. I just needed you to know the truth. I needed you to know it wasn't. He stopped. I needed you to know you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong. 3 words. The same 3 words Ethan had given me weeks ago in this same room, hitting completely differently now. Not because Ryan said them, because I already knew them. I had known them for weeks. I didn't need them from him anymore. And that specific moment of realizing I had stopped needing the validation of the person who had taken it from me was the quietest, most complete victory I had ever felt. Ryan and Damon left an hour later. No dramatic resolution, no promises, no bond discussion or future plans, or neat ending tied with something pretty. Just 2 people who had come with the truth and left having given it. The door closed. Ethan and I stood in the quiet cafe. "You all right?" he said. I thought about it honestly. "Yes," I said. "Actually, yes." He almost smiled. I looked down at my hand, the one I had pressed to my chest 100 times over the past weeks, holding the bond, holding myself together, holding everything that had threatened to come apart. I lowered it, let it rest at my side. The bond was still there, quiet now, settled. But it wasn't the most important thing in my chest anymore. He remembered me in the end, but by then, I was already gone. Not broken, not bitter, just further along than he could reach. And the most important thing I learned through all of it wasn't about Ryan, wasn't about the mark, or the bond, or the elders, or Damon's silence. It was this: the people who are meant for you will never make you disappear to keep themselves comfortable. And the moment someone asks you to be smaller, quieter, less certain of your own experience, that is not love. That is convenience dressed as love. You deserve the difference. If this story found you at the right moment, you already know why. Save it. Share it. Send it to someone who has ever been made to doubt something they knew was real. Because you were never wrong. You were just waiting to believe it. Follow for the next story.